Act 3 of The Beau's Duel, or A Soldier for the Ladies, by Susanna Centlivre. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1. Scene, Careful's house. Careful solace with Ogle's letter.
Very fine. I see my daughter is resolved to have strings enow her bow. Death to give encouragement to a dog that has neither wit nor money to recommend him. A good Mr. Ogle, if I catch you ogling there, I'll hamstring you. I can tell you that for your comfort. I'm glad I got the letter before her. My spark's very familiar, methinks.
Reads.
Madam, I informed you entertain Sir William Mode. If so, I desire to know the reason why you encourage me. I am not to be fooled. Who the devil is this coxcomb? If you clear not this imputation, I shall believe you design to jilt me. Very complaisant, truly, and a purbearer, as you value your admirer Ogle. Yes, I have answered purbearer with a broken pate, and I with yours had been in his place. Lord, Lord, who would be plagued with children? I am resolved she shall marry Sir William to-morrow. Why, she'll have as many fellows at her heels as her colonel has soldiers waiting for their pay. Why, what a medley of suitors has she! Fighters, fools, and fops. Well, since you are so fickle, mistress, I'll fix you presently, or marry myself. Mr. Toper was wishing me to a cousin of his, who will be in town to-day. Adod, if this perverse baggage make one scruple of obeying my will, I'll have her, and try if her mother-in-law won't hamper her. But I'll in, and send for Sir William immediately.
Exit. The scene changes to another room in the same house. Clorinda and Amelia, dressing in boys' clothes, Mrs. Plotwell with them.
Here, on with your manhood, quickly!
I fear, Clorinda, this masquerade will not be reputable for women of nice honour.
Oh, don't fear that, since you only wear it to do yourselves justice. For justice can never be dishonourable.
You are not insensible, cousin, how resolutely my cruel father persecutes me with this fop. Therefore, since poor Clorinda is in all this danger, I, my own knight-errant, and thou, my trusty squire, will march en cavalier, and deliver the distressed damsel by beating the giant into a pygmy. Then be our own heralds, and proclaim our victory to my father, and hollow the coward so loud in his ears that we will shame him out of all thoughts of this fool.
If that don't do it, my plot shall. Toper has broke it to him, as I told you.
I readily submit to any proposal of yours, and will rely on your contrivance.
You may command me, but be quick and dress. Who told you of this duel?
Sir William's valet makes love to my woman. Through him we discover the time and place, but I know not the grounds of this quarrel.
That, I suppose, is your ladyship, for Mr. Ogle publicly declares you are in love with him.
Ogle? Who is he?
A foolish fellow about town. He lodges at Mrs. Commode's, your milliner.
Oh, heavens! I believe I've seen him pass through the shop, but never had curiosity enough to ask his name. In love with him? I should as soon be in love with a weasel. Why is he Sir William's antagonist? I fancy we shall have rare sport.
They are as like two peas in everything but estate, and in that Sir William outdoes him.
He is the very quintessence of foppery. His name and nature suits exactly, for he's a nice observer of the modes. His valet is forced to counterfeit a Frenchman, or he would turn him away.
Ridiculous enough. Well, thus dressed, now what are we to do?
Why, when we're sated with their sordid foppery, we'll kick them into better manners.
How kick, Clorinda? If they should return our compliment, I shall quickly discover my manhood to be counterfeit.
Never fear it. They won't fight with a mouse, I dare swear, if it were out of a trap.
I know Sir William's a coward. I'd been often told so, and to prove it, I sent him a challenge as from one Mr. Roughly. His man said it put him in such a consternation he should never forget him. He sent me word that he'd meet me at the Calais sands and give me satisfaction.
A good excuse. Indeed, he is fit for nothing but to set upon one's cabinet to watch one's china. Well, I wish you good sport, and am your humble servant.
Exit Mrs. Plotwell.
I'm resolved, ere I'll be forced into the arms of a person I loathe and despise. The passion I have for Colonel Manley will tempt me to make him my sanctuary.
Amelia, aside.
I must tell her of his falsehood, the thoughts of which have turned all the foolish passion I had conceived. Take care, Clorinda, you ben't deceived in him.
What do you mean, Amelia?
That he is false.
False? Impossible! How do you know this?
I have the best proof in the world of it. Ocular demonstration. He makes love to me. Nay, don't start. Had I not been too much your friend, Clorinda, I had not let you into the secret. For upon my word, I don't think him disagreeable.
Clorinda, aside.
Oh, heavens! She's in love with him, and therefore would slyly persuade me into an ill opinion of him. How know you 'tis he, cousin?
I am sure that gentleman that bowed us into the side-box the first night I came to town has ever since pursued me with most violent love, and I must confess I liked his humour so well that I could not be displeased with his playing the fool.
Where did you see him next? How got he an opportunity?
You know the next night I went out with only my woman.
I remember.
Why, then I went to the play in a mask, on purpose for a little diversion, and 'twas my fortune to sit next to him in the pit, where during the playtime he entertained me with the prettiest discourse in the world, and when 'twas done he would not part with me till I had promised to write him, and I could not help keeping my word, if I was to be hanged. But finding him false to you, I hate him. This letter I have writ to upbraid him.
Shows a letter.
How's this? For Mr. Celadon?
Aye, we pass upon one another for Celadon and Chloe. For my part, I did not inquire his name, because he should not ask mine.
Did he ever ask your name, nor tell you his?
No, and I suppose that was his policy to prevent a discovery to you.
Enter Clorinda's maid, giving her a letter.
Ah, 'tis from Manley. What's this?
Reads.
The private encouragement you give that fop, Sir William, is not so closely managed to escape a jealous lover's eye that sees you everywhere. To be deceived touches my tenderest part, especially from one I thought my own. But we are subject to mistakes. I find that I am so in you, my eyes, my ears are all witnesses. I shall take what care I can not to be troublesome to you, since I find you no longer value the peace of Manley. Oh, monstrous, perfidious mankind! Oh, I perceive your drift. He charges me with this fool on purpose to find pretence for his own falsehood. It is a poor excuse. But what won't men fall into when they quit their honour? Oh, that I had but an opportunity of upbraiding him to his face.
That you shall. He knows not yet of the discovery. I'll write to him to come here. I have no reason to suspect his disobeying the summons, no more now than formerly.
Did he use to meet you, then?
Most punctually. But I'll in and write to him, and be here in a minute.
Exit.
Well, it is impossible to dive into the heart of man, for sure he has the face of truth. Nay, I can hardly believe he's false yet, so deep an impression did his seeming honesty stamp upon my soul.
Re-enter Amelia.
I have sent it away, and I doubt not but to convince you of the truth of what I say. But come, don't think on it now, but let's begone. Methinks I long to bully these cowards. Pray heaven they prove so.
Deuce on it! This will destroy half the satisfaction I promised myself from this frolic. But come, if we succeed in Proteus's artful school, The world shall say a very beau's a fool.
Exeunt. Scene, Hyde Park. Enter Sir William and Ogle with files, pumps, and nightcaps.
Here's a weapon, Mr. Ogle will decide the quarrel as well as e'er a sharp in Christendom, and without danger.
An admirable contrivance, Sir William, for now they'll hear of a duel, and we reckoned such skilful artists that neither could overcome.
Right. I think a gentleman ought to wear a sharp, for a terror to the vulgar, and because 'tis the fashion. But he should never use it but as an ornament and part of his dress. I hope to see it as much a fashion to fight with files as to fence with them. If I was a member of Parliament, I'd bring in a bill against duelling. I'm sure the clause would pass, for there's a majority in the House of my constitution. Come, approach, suffer.
Enter Clorinda and Amelia with their swords drawn.
Hold, gentlemen! I'm bound in honour to part you. Ha! What's this?
Files, upon my honour.
Why do you laugh, gentlemen? I think this is the nicest way of deciding a quarrel. The other is fit for none but bullies and soldiers that get their bread by it. 'Tis easily seen this way who's the most skill. And pray, what is got by the other more rude method but a scandalous character or a shameful death?
And by my consent, he that draws a sword out of the immediate service of the king should be hanged.
Say you so, sir? Now hear my sentiments. He that would not draw a sword upon any just account should be kicked thus, and thus, sir.
Kicks him.
What do you mean, gentlemen?
Only to rub your courage a little.
What's that, sir?
You don't hear well, sir. I'll lengthen your ears a little.
Pulls him by the ears.
I wonder that you, who look so like a gentleman, should be guilty of such ill-bred actions. Fie, kick and cough, exercises for footmen. Pray learn better carriage of us.
I'd as soon learn manners of a Muscovite.
Pray, sir, who are you? And what affairs led you hither?
I'm a servant to Clorinda, and consequently a rival of yours.
Ogle aside.
Oh, Lord, a rival of mine, too.
I came hither to kick you and expose you when I had done. The first, you are sensible, I have performed, and from that instance of my honesty, you may take my word for the rest.
Sir William aside.
I am undone. Blister me. The very shadow of a Jew be not unfortunate.
Enter Colonel Manley and Captain Belmayne.
Why, how now, young gentlemen? Are you breathing yourselves, or giving lessons in the Stoic philosophy to those patient disciples?
Or have you a journey to ride, that you are getting your backside hardened for it?
Sir William aside.
Manly here, I'd compound for half my estate, blister me.
Ha! Manly here. We must retire, cousin, lest it spoils our plot, as doubtless it will, if he knows us.
Methinks I could even here reproach him.
Exit Clorinda and Amelia.
This is hearing of a duel. Indeed, Files, ha ha ha. You was resolved to prevent murder. You need never fear the exaltation of the gallows, for your courage reaches but to a chance medley at most.
Prithee, who are those gentlemen, Sir William? Methinks they used you very familiarly.
Men of no honour, you may conclude, Colonel, else they would not have affronted gentlemen when they found them defenceless.
Right. But why would you be so defenceless? Faith, Sir William, if this news reaches your mistress's ears, it will ruin you in her favour. Take this for a rule. The less regard you have for your honour, the more you sink in esteem with your mistress, For all women hate a coward. You ought to be forbid the habits of men, who can be guilty of effeminacy that even women would blush at.
Why, gentlemen, I think Pasiphae sits well enough upon men that have estates and have a mind to live and enjoy them.
Damn him for a cowardly blockhead! Prithee, let's go. I'm sick of their folly. Besides, you said you would convince me of Clorinda's falsehood.
Enter Belmane's man, and gives him a letter.
I have run, sir, all the way, for the porter told me it must be given you that moment.
Ha! That's a lucky hit, Colonel. She invites me to come to her lodging, and her servant should be ready to convey me into her apartment. Here, read it, man. Now you may convince yourself. Egad, if I were not a damned honest fellow to my friend, now could I pass 3 hours the most agreeable in the world? Pox on me for a prating coxcomb, could not I have held my tongue? Well, what think you of it, Colonel?
It is not her hand, but that's nothing. She might disguise that to conceal it from me. I know not what to think, but I'm resolved to go, and if I find her false, 'twill cure me effectually.
Come on, then.
Exeunt.
I have been considering all this while upon what the Colonel said, and I am resolved to be valiant. For if ladies don't like a coward, I shall never get a fortune. For aught I know, I may fight as well as anybody. I'm resolved to try. Harkee, Sir William, our servants are hereby. Let's send for our swords and fight in earnest.
Not I, Mr. Ogle. I declare against fighting positively.
But I declare for fighting, and so shall you, or resign all pretensions to Clorinda. For I design to marry her myself. Therefore don't think of her. Do you hear?
You marry her? Ha, 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 ha!
Zounds, sir! Dare you laugh at a gentleman, yet dare not fight? Take that, sir!
Strikes up his heels.
And the next time I hear you speak a word more of her, I'll cut your throat, and so good-bye. So, this is one step towards courage. I'm resolved to challenge every man that pretends to a fortune, till I have got one myself. And now my hand's in, I'll challenge this colonel the next time I see him, though at the head of his regiment.
Rat, this blockhead, what a metamorphosis is here! 'Tis well I fell upon my cloak, or I had daubed all my clothes, blister me. Well, to sing, dance, or court a lady, or any such gentlemanlike employments, I'll turn my back to none. But for the slovenly exercise of fighting, I shall ne'er be brought to endure it, and impair my vigour.
Exit. Scene, Careful's house. Careful pulling in Amelia in boy's clothes.
Who the devil have we here? Nay, nay, sir, I must see your face. Another gallant of my daughter's, I warrant. Who are you, sir? From whence come you? What business have you in my house, ha?
Oh, Lord, what shall I say to this old fellow? He'll certainly know me.
What are you studying for a lie, sir? Adored, I shall make you find your tongue. Speak quickly, or I'll cut your throat, you dog, you.
Draws.
Ah! Oh, Lord! A sword! For heaven's sake, sir! Oh, Lord, sir! Don't you know me?
Know you, sir? Who the pox are you, sir? Ha! Amelia? Why, what masquerade's this? Where's my daughter?
Enter Clorinda.
Ho, sir, your humble servant. Why, what a pox are you going into the service? You were too pretty, volunteers, faith.
Ha! My father! What shall I say? I'll e'en face it out, since he has catched me. We have done a friend of yours some service, sir.
A friend of mine? As how, pray, forsooth?
Why, you must know, sir, I was informed of a duel between Sir William Mode and a brother beau of his. The concern I knew you had for Sir William's safety engaged my care and prevention. I was unwilling to expose him by fending anybody else, so that my cousin and I, by the help of this disguise, parted them. But we should not need to have made such haste, for the puppies were trying their valour safely with a couple of files.
Ha, ha, ha! And this was the occasion of your being in breeches, ha?
And I think it a good project too, uncle.
You do? Well, daughter, pray let's have you in your feminine capacity again. For though you bully in breeches, I hope you'll marry in petticoats.
Marry, sir?
Yes, forsooth. I have sent for Sir William in order to have the settlement completed tonight, and tomorrow your honour shall rise with the sun. That is to say, you shall be my Lady Maud.
Honour! Sir! Where is the honour in such a husband? I hope, sir, you will not marry me to a coward. Why, there's not a needy bully around town but will beat a maintenance out of him. And where is the reputation in such a marriage?
But he'll make a swinging jointure. And if you don't like him when you have him, you may live apart.
Oh, heaven! What shall I say? Sir, I beg you'll delay your purpose for a month.
Not for a day.
Sir, I have sworn not to marry this month.
Have you so? Pray, who have you sworn to, mistress? To Mr. Ogle, ha?
Ogle? Who is he, pray, sir? Heaven, has my father got this story too?
You don't know such a person? I'll warrant you, as Mr. Ogle?
I have seen such a fellow, sir, but never spoke to him.
No. Look in my face. You never spoke to him? That is, encouraged his love?
No, upon my honour.
You lie. You have no honour. Read that.
Throws the letter.
And do you hear? Resolve to marry Sir William tomorrow by 6, or I'll marry myself before 12. So take your choice. I'll ogle you, and soldier you with a pox to you.
Exit.
Oh, the impudence of Ogle! I'll have the rascal toffed in a blanket. See, Amelia, what an audacious letter 'tis. Bless me, I have no patience. I encourage such a rascal.
He is very familiar, methinks. Hang him. The fool's below your anger. Never think on it. Come, prithee think which way to turn yourself if the colonel be false, as I dare swear he is. What think you of marrying Sir William? He is master of a fair estate, which you may make subservient to your pleasures, to make life's rugged journey pass the smoother. If he be true, as you have but little reason to think he is, you may yet find some way to accomplish your desires. Come, the time draws on, in which you'll be convinced of this truth or falsehood. Come what will, resolve to be content, and trust to fortune for the wished event.
Exit. Enter careful Toper and Mrs. Plotwell, dressed like a Quaker.
Mr. Toper, your cousin is welcome. My house is at your service, madame.
I thank thee, but pray thee do not madam me. My name is Anne.
A very handsome woman, and very modestly dressed.
I have used all the arguments in my power to convert her from this formality, but in vain. She's as averse to the fashions as other women are fond of 'em. But I hope your niece and daughter will work a reformation in her.
I rather hope she'll work one in them. I'll assure you I'll recommend her as a pattern. Is this the woman you would recommend to me for a wife, Mr. Toper?
The same, sir.
I protest I like her exceedingly. She seems cut out on purpose for me. Her plain way of living will improve my estate, and her morals will hamper my daughter. I like a religious woman.
You can't be better matched if she has not too much. Yesterday I carried her to wait on a relation of ours that has a parrot, and whilst I was discoursing about some private business, she converted the bird, and now it talks of nothing but the light of the spirit and the inward man.
Good lack, good lack.
Well, well, thee wilt never leave thy ridiculous jests. I say that mankind were not made for foppery and pride, but to do good in their generation. Prithee show me one text of scripture for the fashions, or where jewels are commanded, or what holy matron ever had a valet to dress them, as they say the French ladies have. Oh, monstrous fashion! No, no, our devoutest women wore coarse linen, or rather none at all.
Ah, such saints as wore their congregations without-side, and swarmed with Christian vermin, it must be them. But you hold every handsome garment a sin.
Handsome garment! Verily, I believe, if we are punished with taxes again to carry on another war, 'twill be a just judgment upon this sinful land for their long wigs, hooped coats, furbelows, false teeth, and patches.
Truly, I am of her opinion. She speaks like an oracle, for the devil was never so proud as our women are nowadays.
Aside.
I'm resolved, if my daughter shew the least reluctance to my will to marry her out of hand, I'll motion it to her, and try how she likes me. What think you of a husband, forsooth? For to be plain with you, your extraordinary qualities have raised a great desire in me of becoming such.
I doubt, friend. Thou'd expect a larger fortune than I am dame of.
I protest, I don't care if you have not a groat. Your virtue's a wealthy dowry to me. Say you'll but have me, and 'tis enough.
But it may be thou'lt be against my course of life. I love retirement, must have time for my devotion in my own way. I'm not used to the ceremony of visits, and hate tea-table vanity and card-play, as they call it.
Our plot takes rarely.
This makes me love you more.
One thing more, thou hast a daughter, they say, a topping gallant, which I desire to see and try if good admonitions, together with example, won't reform her. For plainly, I don't care to come under the roof where children are, if they be not dutiful. So I must see her first, ere I can give thee my answer.
That you shall presently. Here, carry this gentlewoman to my daughter, and tell her she must entertain her as her mother that is to be. Tell her so from me, d'ye hear?
Exit Mrs. Plotwell and servant.
Really, Mr. Topher, your cousin is a profound Christian. If my daughter refuse to marry Sir William, I'll jointure her in my whole estate.
Well, for aught I know, you can't do better than marry. For who would be plagued with a disobedient child?
Especially when they depend upon us for their fortunes. The devil young fellow would care a sous for their persons, did not our purse strings draw. Here, forsooth, my daughter is running mad after a soldier, a fellow whose fortune depends upon his sword, and here we are going to wars again, and fixed afore but a cannon bullet takes his head off, and then the wife is turned home to her father again, and in such cases a father has never disposed of his children entirely, and all the jointure she'll bring will consist of housings, holster caps, pistols, swords, and so forth.
Enter servant.
Is Sir William Mode below, sir?
Tell him I'll wait on him presently. Come, Mr. Topher, you shall be witness of our agreement. I sent for him to complete the business. Sign, seal tonight, and tomorrow we'll have a dance.
Exit.
I fancy we shall drive dancing out of your head, old gentleman.
Exit. End of the third act.